I just wanted to hop on here really quick and answer this question for you. A little bit of the backstory for, well, anyone who wouldn't know what this comment was about, which would be most people. So I've been estranged from my mother's side of the relatives, my mother included, my grandparents, the whole 9 yards, for over 30 years. And about halfway through that estrangement, so I would say 16, 17 years in, my eldest daughter was having my first grandchild. And at that time, my eldest daughter was in a relationship with my mother. When I estranged from my mother, my eldest daughter, who was her golden grandchild, was around 5 or 6 years old. When my eldest daughter became an adult, she went and looked for, well, actually my grandmother is who she was looking to connect to, and connected to my mother and that side of the family and the whole 9 yards. She has since estranged herself from my mother. It's been quite a few years since she's spoken to her, and that was due to how my mother behaved towards her. She saw firsthand a portion of what it was that I walked away from and why I walked away. More details, there's more to the story than that, but that's like the Cliff Notes version because I want to answer your question. So I met all my stepfathers after my mother was married to them. My first one I was 9, the second one I was 12, and this one I was, I don't even know how old I was, but I would have been, I guess, in my mid-30s. So this one I don't falter for, just so everyone knows. But the 9 and 12 ones, yes, I probably should have known them, and they should have known me before my mother married them, but that's not what happened. And my next stepfather, oh, I never met him. Okay, anyway, anywhoosie. So I'm at the hospital. My daughter has had my first grandson, who, by the way, is going off to university in August. I'm very proud of him. And I'm very proud of both my grandchildren. I don't want to leave the other one out. Anywhoosie, I'm at the hospital and my mother is there. I knew she was going to be there. We had had some interactions after she showed up unannounced at my door to let me know she was going to be at the hospital. It was like a whole thing. And I was actually hopeful that I was going to be able to have a relationship with my mother. And meeting her husband, true to form, he was a very nice man. She always married very nice, malleable, kind, empathetic men, people that she could really prey on. And they had been married for probably at least, they must have been married for at least a decade at this point. Maybe longer, I'm not even sure. Most of the men that she married died. 4 out of 6 died, 1 of cancer. Oh, the last one didn't marry her, but they were common law. Anywhoosie, you're asking me I'm reading it here, what did the husband say to you in the hospital? Well, as we were in the hospital, I noticed that he kept staring at me and looking at me. And at some point, you have to leave the room when the baby comes in or they're doing something to the mom who just gave birth and that sort of thing. So there were points in time where I went down into the common area in the lobby and he was down there and my mother was down there, and he would just be kind of staring at me, and I thought, oh, he knows what a piece of shit I am. That's literally what I thought. I thought, oh, he knows all the stories. He knows I'm damaged goods. He knows I'm sick in the head. He knows all the bad stuff about me, what a horrible daughter I was, what a horrible child, the 9 yards, right? And so I wasn't too keen on really connecting to him or anything. I felt ashamed. I felt the shame of the things that I knew my mother would say about me. At some point, my mother, I don't know, she went to make a phone call, what it was, but she wasn't around. And he kind of beelined for me, and I was like, oh crap, right? And it was like, oh no, here we go. And he said, I just want you to know, I know it wasn't you. And I was like, it still makes me emotional. You were only 13 years old. That's how old I was when I ran away from home for the final time. I'd been running since I was 6, 7 years old. He goes, if I knew what I know about your mother now, when I married her, I would have never married her. I want you to know it was never you. You were just a kid. You were just a child. And then she came back in, and that ended the conversation. And I don't think she knew what occurred in that I'm sure she didn't know what occurred in that interaction. And that always really stuck with me. It gave me some healing. And I share this. I'm really glad that you asked the question, because I thought I was simply going to answer it, but I want to take it a step further. And I want to let you know, anybody that's out there that knows a child who went through abuse with a parent, how healing and valuable those words and that observation was for me and would be for them. And if you think it doesn't matter, it does. Because even that many years into no contact, we're talking over 15 years, I do think closer to 17 at that point, I was still carrying the feelings that everybody believed my mother, everybody stood with my mother because the family system stood with her, the relatives, her friends, all of those, most of those people, not all of them, but most of them. And when they stand with her, it's not like they're just standing with her, it's that they believe her regarding what a horrific little girl I was to her, what a terrible daughter I was. And hearing those words, the validation in them, especially at that time for me, were really, really healing. And even though I'm in a place in my life where with every fiber of my being, I know I wasn't a broken little girl, I was a girl that she was trying to break, even hearing those words now would have the same amount of value for me. Yeah, so if you're out there and you know somebody going through something that, where they're being hurt in some way and you know it's not their fault, take a moment and let them know. Thanks for the question. I appreciate you being here with me.